just imagine a situation where you are stuck inside a container and you're drifting across the sea, and you look all around you and it's just water, water, water. There's no hope. You don't have a cell phone, you have nothing. It's just you stuck in a container. Oh my god. Like, let me tell you, I can't even imagine. I'm feeling like chills. Like, that is insane. Today we're going to be reviewing the show Nowhere, and this show is about a pregnant woman and her husband who are escaping their very tough regime to move to a different country, Ireland, so that they can have hopes of a better future. So this show starts off in Spain. I think it's like a future version of Spain, where the regime is like getting rid of women, children and pregnant women so that they can deal with the lack of resources, and it's very cruel, and you can see people in the streets are protesting and they're just fighting for their rights. So we meet Mia and Nico. So Mia is pregnant, very heavily pregnant, and we meet them being taken to a ship, not a ship, a cargo container where they're going to be smuggled off of Spain so that they can go to Ireland to start a new future. So once they're taken to the ship, they have to pay some amount of money so that they can be able to be shipped. And we see that Nico had to pay a bit extra more because of the tough times, and they're able to get into the cargo container, and they're getting now shipped off to the port where they'll be put in a ship and then they can cruise away. But before they get to the port, they stop somewhere where more people are put into the container, but the person who's shipping them says there are too many, so some of them have to be removed, and unfortunately one of them is Nico. And even if he tries to say that he was part of the previous group, they don't believe him. They're like, move or we shoot you. So he had to move and be taken to a different container, and once they make it to the port, there's the port search. So the guy who's searching the port, when the container is open, it looks empty, but there's some material that is material like mabati TV. It's featuring the women who are behind, or the people who are behind who are getting smuggled away. And this man was clever. He knew he ain't gonna play me, so he actually ends up shooting every single person, because he comes to realize that there's some people who are there, and ends up shooting every single person there except Mia. Mia was able to climb on top of some container boxes and hide on top, and then everyone gets freaking killed, even kids, and that was just insane. And once they inspected that everything, like there's no one left, and then they took the bodies away, the container was put on a cargo ship and they started sailing. But unfortunately a very, very, very bad storm occurs, and the containers just fall off of the ship, and that is how Mia finds herself drifting at sea in a container. So she's really freaking out. She's alone, and then her phone fell. So when the container was falling, she ended up hitting her head and she passed out. So when she woke up, she found like there's water on the floor everywhere. So she had to like really now try to figure out, what am I gonna do, because Mia is very heavily pregnant. She needs to survive for her baby. So she goes through all the boxes inside the container. She finds nothing that can help her, just boxes of containers of like lunch boxes, liquor, and basically things that really can't help her survive. But there's a backpack of one of the people who were in that ship that had some bread, it had some torches, it had like a few things that she could survive with. And at first she's panicking, she's freaking out, she's crying for help, but nobody. It's because she's the only she's alone in that container. And actually after some time she hears like screaming, and then when she looks through the holes in the container where some gunshots passed through while they were traveling through the whole well, they were being shipped to the port, she sees a container that is sinking. There's a container that's sinking, and it's the same container that her husband got into, and people are screaming and screaming for their lives. And yeah, so she panics. She's trying to call Nico, but her phone is dead, so she switches to another banana phone she found in that bag, and she tries to call Nico, but he's in treasure, so she's freaking out. She doesn't know what to do, but Nico does get to her later, and this gives her life to fight for herself, because Nico is like, I'm gonna find you, I'm going to try my best to come to you, just hold on until then. So now she starts you know, she's doing 1 2 3, giving herself courage. She's rationing her food, the bread and some stuff that she found in the bag, so she's doing good in the water that she has. But unfortunately, on one very stormy night, Mia has labor pains, and she knows it's time, and she really try to, but you cannot hold labor. Like, once it's time, her water breaks, it's time for her to give birth. And I'm telling you, this part was just, I don't know, the whole time I was just like, because like, she had to give birth. Yeah. So it's raining, it's pouring, there's a storm, water is getting into the container, it's up to her knees, so she just holds on to 2 ropes, and then her bottom half is in the water, and she just pushes and pushes the baby out. But when the baby comes out, the baby is not breathing, so she has to do like baby CPR until the baby starts, you know, crying, and she's like, oh thank God, now she has a reason to live. And at first she was really struggling because the baby was not latching on her nipple. You know, I think this is something actually you taught you to, like, baby to latch on the nipple so that they can breastfeed. The baby was not doing that. Like, how so she was so frustrated, the baby's crying. She even ended up shouting at the kid, like, for the baby to, like, you know, out of frustration. But she apologized later, so it was quite a roller coaster. And yeah, but eventually the baby latched on and started breastfeeding, and she was so happy. And I'm telling you, the emotions that this show brought out of me was just insane. Like, the whole time I was just watching, I don't know, I was feeling happy, I was feeling sad, I was feeling like scared on her behalf, because me, I was so sure that she's gonna die and then the baby's gonna survive some Titanic type of something. But anyways, she decides to, like, there was a hand drill in the container, so she decides to, like, open up the roof of the container that they can have fresh air, because there's really no fresh air in that container. So she when she's hand drilling, the drill dies when she was almost there, so she had to cut the holes that she had made with a knife, and her hands are like bleeding, and the baby is also crying at the same time, so she has to give attention to the baby. That was wild. And then she was able to cut to the container, so they had like an opening where they would go through, and she was able to, like, see to the ocean. Actually, something I've forgotten to say, which was like a huge thing, is that when I think when you give birth, there's this hunger that comes because you need to breastfeed your kid. So she literally binge ate all the food she had been rationing, and then she had nothing left. Like, all the water she drank, all the food she ate, so she had no food and she was starving. So she had to eat her placenta raw. She had to eat her own freaking placenta raw. I mean, she had to do what she had to do to survive. So I know she has to survive for her baby. So eventually, one day while she was sitting on top of the container, you know, just with her baby, she's changing the diaper, and she threw the diaper into the water. She notices that the fish are, you know, eating the child's poop. Yeah, so she was like, I could eat fish. So she made a net out of some rope she found in the container, and she was able to catch some fish, and that's how she was surviving. She was eating raw fish, which I think is very dangerous, but she had to do what she got on Zoom. So then one day she sees a plane flying, and then she decides to, like, she wants to signal the plane. So she goes back into the container, she takes a mirror, she breaks, I don't know what it was, and takes a mirror out, and then she goes back up. But in the process of going back up, she ends up, like, slicing open her thigh, and that was like, and even the plane didn't see her. That was wild. So she had to literally seal the wound shut. Oh, that part was painful to watch. So there was some liquor in the storage boxes that were in that container, and she was able to, like, sew her wound shut. Like, she drank the liquor and sewed it shut. Oh, that was wild. You can imagine that excruciating pain. I don't even know where she found the needle. I don't even know what she used, because I don't think that was an actual needle. But anyways, she was able to survive. She really fought for her kid. And then one day she got a call from Nico, and Nico was like, I'm sorry babe, unfortunately I tried to sneak into one of the containers that were being shipped off, but they caught me, and while I was running away he got shot, so he wasn't going to make it, so they said their goodbyes, and that was so painful. Actually, something else we did come to realize is that Nico and Mia had a baby daughter who was unfortunately taken by the regime as well. Like, she was taken by the soldiers, and yeah, she blamed herself so much for it, and it is something so painful to her. So one day, so the container slowly by slowly was filling up with water because it had holes. So one day the container gave out and it sank, and while she was trying to like get into it, when she got into the, while the container was like sinking, she was trying to get something in the container, and then her leg got caught on rope, and then she had to struggle to cut through that part was tension. Like, some of us who don't know how to swim would have done day one, but anyways, she was able to cut the rope, and when she got back to the surface, she saw that she can see her baby, but a whale that was passing by just like poured water on the baby started like screaming, and she was able to find her baby. But now actually something else is they were able to see seagulls, so like seagulls were flying, so she knew they're close to land, so she had to that gave her hope to really push on. Now the container has sunk, she's just swimming across the ocean towards the direction that she saw the seagulls going, but she's really cold, she's tired, she's latching onto like this cuddle she had made for her baby, so she's just floating away. And some fishermen were able to see the baby's cuddle, and they took it, they saw the child, and they were very like surprised, like, what is a baby doing floating in the ocean? And then they saw there's a rope attached to the basket cuddle thing, and they pulled the rope, and there was Mia. She was like sinking, going to die, because now what would she have done, and they were able to perform CPR on her, and she was able to come back to life. And yeah, it was such a roller coaster, especially the things that she went through. I'm telling you, this show for me is just a 5 out of 5 stars, because the emotions it brought out of me, and the fact that I'm claustrophobic, I don't even know how to swim. I imagine myself in such a situation, I don't know what I would do. But one thing I know for sure is that if you're put in a situation where it's life or death, you will fight to the extreme until finally maybe finally your body gives out. Like, she was so scared at first, and she told Nico that she don't know if she could do this, but she was able to fight for her and her baby. So I think that was a very good show. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it to anyone, and you should definitely check it out. Everything about it was so cool, and I saw that it was actually filmed on water because they wanted to get the best out of it. No CGI, no nothing, the best out of it, and I think we got the best out of it. And this show is actually in Spanish, but trust you me, it was amazing. It was exquisitoire, 5-course meal. Anyways, I'll see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends, and I will see you on my next video. Bye.